Hello everyone, we are Team Design Her. My name is Nisan Kılınç and our department is Computer Education and Instructional Technology. Other team members can represent themselves.
Hello, my name is Nisa Selim Palamitçı.
Hi, I'm İlayda Selki.
And today we're discussing about foundations of UI and UX design in education. As you can see from our cover, we represent to start at, look at this iceberg. It perfectly illustrates the duality of our topic. UI, which means user interface, is the look, visible surface of colors and typography. However, UX, which means user experience, is the massive hidden structure of usability and satisfaction that supports everything. In an educational context, UI is the classroom's decoration, while UX is the actual pedagogy and how the lesson is delivered to the students. So we can move on to the next slide.
Our aim with this presentation is to highlight the fundamental principles of UX and UI design in creating effective and learner-centered educational experiences. We aim to raise awareness of this UX and UI impact on educational outcomes. We aim to highlight the link between design and learner engagement. Also, this visual serves as an example of how clear structure, consistent colors, and simple layouts can communicate information effectively. We can move on. In line with these objectives, we are going to start by defining the UX and UI design in education, why design matters in learning, what are the core UX and UI principles for education, and lastly, we are going to talk about common design mistakes. We can move on.
In education, UI refers to the visual elements such as colors, fonts, and button styles. User experience is the overall experience. What I mean by that, as you can see in this picture, the yellow side refers to user interface, which is the look, like the color of the cake and the style of the button. And the pink side refers to user experience, which is the feeling, how the user is affected by the design, the colors, and everything else. To illustrate, you can think user interface as the classroom decoration, and user experience is the how the lesson is taught to you. Okay, so far we know what is UI and UX, but why it is important in learning. First, we need to understand how we learn the informations. We get the information through sensory memory, and the working memory is the one that processes information, and it can hold approximately 7 items for 5 to 20 seconds. If it's a successful learning process, we can get the information in the long-term memory. So in an educational material, if the interface is complicated, for example, the buttons are invisible and the user doesn't know what to do, this fills the working load with unnecessary information. This makes it more difficult to transfer information to long-term memory. So designing in learning aims to decrease this extraneous load and make the intrinsic load manageable. What is intrinsic load? Intrinsic load is the complexity of a topic, and with a good design, it makes easier the student's job. At the end, designing in learning supports germane load, which is the student's whole learning adventure in their brain. Now we can move on the other slides.
Now, let's analyze the core UI principles that are mandatory for maximizing learning impact. We prioritize 5 specific pillars to create a high-functioning educational interface. So the first one is content hierarchy. We use visual cues like size, color, and placement to ensure the most important educational concepts are noticed first. The second one is task efficiency. The interface must allow students to complete assignments or maybe navigate modules with the fewest possible steps. The other one is enhanced usability. Every button and icon must be intuitive. reducing the learning curve of the software itself, so the student can focus on the subject matter. And the other one is streamlined experience. By removing visual clutter, we create a smooth path from the start of a lesson to the conclusion. And the last one is user-centered development. The entire interface is designed around the specific needs, maybe age group and digital literacy of the learner. We can move on now. So, core UX principles for education, guided by the industrial legend Don Norman. In education, UX is about how the learner interacts with the system mentally and emotionally. We focus on four key areas. One of them, visibility of system status. The learner should always know where they are in a course. For example, maybe progress bars, they can see it. The other one is a match between system and the real world. We use terms and concepts familiar to students rather than technical jargon, which they didn't know it. And the other one is user control and freedom. Learners need the ability to go back, undo actions, or explore at their own pace without feeling trapped by the software. So UX can give this easily movement to the students. And the last one is consistency and standards. By following established design patterns, we ensure that the students doesn't have to wonder whether different words or actions mean the same thing throughout the platform. So we can move on.
Okay, so what are the common design mistakes? In educational platforms, some common design mistakes can negatively affect the learning experience, and one of the most frequent problems is overloaded screens, too much text. Where too much text and too many elements made it hard for learners to focus. Another issue is complex navigation, which causes students to struggle when they trying to find courses or learning materials. In addition, lack of mobile responsiveness creates difficulties for users who access platforms through their phones or tablets. Failing to prioritize the content is also a major mistake, as important information can become lost among less relevant details. These problems can be avoided by using simple layouts, uh, clear navigation, structures, responsive design, and organizing content based on the learner's needs and learning goals. We can move on.
So, throughout this presentation, we discussed what UI and UX design mean in the context of education and why they are important. As we have seen, effective user interface and user experience design go beyond visual appeal and help create more accessible and meaningful learning experiences.
So when core UI and UX principles are applied correctly, learning materials become more intuitive and engaging and easier to use. This reduces unnecessary cognitive load and follows learners to focus more on the learning process itself.
In conclusion, well-designed UI and UX are not optional but essential in education environments. To create successful, learner-centered educational experiences, design must be considered a fundamental part of pedagogy. So, thank you for listening our presentation.
If you have a question, you can comment to the video. Bye.